Today we're flying ANA first class from Narita, Tokyo to San Francisco. We'll walk through the ground experience, the flight's hard product, a limited time offer, and everything I ate. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. If you want to upgrade your travel experience, then consider subscribing. This flight marks the end of a hectic review trip. After arriving right before Typhoon Empel, I hunkered down for 2 days at the Hyatt Regency Tokyo. Mandy's flight got delayed, but once it landed, we hopped on the bullet train. We had amazing stays at some great hotels in Kyoto, including Ritz-Carlton, Hotel de Mitsui, Park Hyatt, Roku LXR, and Hyatt Regency. After heading back up, we had a reset day at the Hyatt Regency Tokyo, where Mandy somehow got upgraded to a super suite, and then I hopped on a bus to the airport. Given how ANA availability works, Mandy and I did have to fly separately, so she's leaving a day later. This is my first time flying ANA first class from Tokyo, and I definitely made a ton of mistakes that you can learn from. Firstly, ignore the normal check-in desk, so the one with lines for economy, business, first class, and elite status. So you want to ignore the middle options and instead go to the back towards the right. You're going to see a completely separate check-in area that's for people flying the suite or who have diamond status with them. It looks kind of like a private bank with seats and they're super friendly. The best part is that you have your own private security line, meaning that you're not stuck waiting. Tip number 2, pay attention to the lounge directions they give you at check-in. For whatever reason, I think I misheard and then just went with it and ended up going to a closed lounge. So basically trekked 10 minutes out of the way and then had to backtrack 15 minutes to the actual lounge. The one benefit of this exercise though is that I found a duty-free store that actually had the whiskey I wanted in stock. A lot of the other ones either just didn't have it or had a weird lottery mechanic. We'll circle back to this before boarding. Fast forward and we found the suite lounge, which is located in Satellite 5 near gate 53. There's a side for business and first class, with first class being a lot calmer. The lounge itself is a bunch of sofas and some desk-style seating, and does a great job with partitions. My favorite part of the space would be the windows and the great views. If you're into plane spotting, this is solid. Also finally spotted the ANA turtle plane, which looks a lot cooler in person than in pictures. There ended up being a lot of flight delays due to weather, so the lounge did fill up quite a bit. Even then, there was still plenty of seats and it never felt crowded, just busier. It can get pretty loud with chatter, so if you are looking to do some work, then I would head to the business center. Here, there's some cubicles with printers, work chairs, desk space, and also monitors. It's also a lot cooler in here, so if you run hot, or if you're sweating from trekking for 25 minutes, then this might be a good place to hang out. There's also a sleeping area with 3 pods if you want to take a nap before your flight. Also a smoking area as well. For food, there's a buffet area with a bunch of snacks and bites. These include Western options like pastries, sandwiches, and other breads. Also Japanese picks like tofu or seaweed onigiri. There's also a salad bar with a ton of items, along with chocolate and other desserts. For drinks, there's machines for coffee, soft drinks, and also beers. Also sakes, champagne, and self-serve alcohol as well. Instead of the buffet, I would actually opt for a la carte. So you go up to order and they give you a beeper when it's ready. Options include 5 kinds of sushi with miso soup, ANA original hamburger steak, 3 types of curries, soba or udon noodles with different toppings, ramen noodles, chicken curry, hashed beef, fresh pasta, beef burger, mac and cheese, rice bowl with beef, salmon and roe rice bowl, and a plant burger. I ended up starting with the sushi and miso soup. Okay, finally made it to the lounge, and first up we have some sushi. It smells amazing. That was awesome, super fresh and delicious. I'm a bit tempted to get another plate of this, but I don't want to overdo it. Pretty flavorful tuna. Shrimp was pretty good too. I've had better, but can't complain. Cheers. Eel wasn't bad, but I've had better. Not even the fattiest cut, but super flavorful and it was delicious. Tamago. That's really good tamago. I feel like I have a pretty high bar for it, and yeah, not bad at all. That's like an 8 or 9. Some miso soup. Not my favorite iteration, but tasty nonetheless. Also tried the rice bowl with beef. Pretty good flavors and loved the fatty beef and tasty sauce, but a bit too much rice for me. Finished off with another sushi set because why not? After finding out that the flight was delayed once again, I ended up opting to take a shower. There's a total of 10 shower rooms that are shared between the suite and the regular lounge. Pretty simple, but does the job, and they have a basket with everything you need. Call me crazy, but it feels amazing to shower before a flight, especially if you're already sweaty and sticky beforehand. I ended up trekking back to the other duty-free and picked up 3 bottles of whiskey I really wanted. The price was about 18,000 yen per bottle, which is about 120 bucks. It's definitely not cheap, but still way cheaper than the US. For example, it might cost you $500 to get some of these since they're not really imported. I was more than happy to pay the 3% duty, but they didn't really care and waived it. 3 bought it duty free, 1 on the way here, and then the final one on the plane. Stay tuned for an unboxing of that one. We ended up booking this using points. Since pricing and strategies can change, I'll link to a blog post down below that's easier to update for future viewers. If you want to learn about cards to get these points and want to support the channel, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. Okay, just boarded and kind of forgot how amazing the soft product is. Great service. Let's change into these. Okay, let's go through everything while we're still on the ground and it's easy. Right off the bat, change into slippers. There also are going to be PJs or comfortable clothes to wear on the plane. They do have different sizes, so I got a large. So if you are smaller or bigger, they can accommodate you. To the top, next up we have pants. Shirt's a little iffy, but pants are solid. Got a welcome drink already, and they're coming around with other amenities that you might need. Here's some lip balm, earplugs, eye mask. I still don't know what this is. I think it's a leg warmer or leg wrap, but I've been given this multiple times. And also a toothbrush, but they also have them in the bathroom as well, so I guess I didn't need to take it. I'm gonna put all of the stuff in a drawer for now just to make it easier. You do have 3 drawers, 2 that are pretty close to you, and 1 that's a bit farther away. So 1 over here. This is kind of the one where I toss most of my stuff in, just to make life easier. Oop, shoehorn from before, left on the floor. And eye mask. This one has HDMI, USB, and headphone jack. One thing I really like is that everyone has ample storage room, so that's pretty much just for me. This is the storage that's a bit further away, but pretty sizable. In addition to the PJs, you also have kind of a sweater, which is super comfortable. Still a little too warm right now, but I'll probably get into this later on. Over here is going to be a blanket. This is from Tenrita Market. Last up, we have the pillow. It's kind of in between of a memory foam and a normal pillow, but I like it. I'm a fan. Very squishable and has like a nice form structure to it. Seat itself is pretty wide, and you have this fabric material that's pretty breathable. Top layer is going to have this leather finish. Seat belts are here, and there's no side strap like some business class or first class products. The seat is pretty big. Let's see what I mean. So this is me totally on the right side, kind of as far as I could be, and you could still fully have a pillow here, and it's not even touching me. Like, it's barely touching me. I probably shouldn't do this, but here is me man-spreading. You could fully man-spread. If we're trying to get some work done or you want to get charged up, there also is a plug down here. I don't know if you're supposed to use this area for storage, but I kind of do sometimes. So the camera sits pretty well right over there. There's also a ton of legroom. Even if you're a basketball player, you're gonna like the seat. This is the Wi-Fi card over here, and you do have to kind of scratch it off. Make sure you pair it to the device you want to use for the rest of the flight, because you only have one device that's free. So last time I paired it to my laptop, and I barely used it because it wasn't really practical, and I really should have paired it to my phone. Over here is a slipper bag if you want to keep your slippers. Tons of storage room over here where you can store stuff, and also down here where I have my shoes and a secondary bag. Pretty sizable, and you can easily have a carry-on down here. Over here is an area to put the menu. It does open up as well where there's a mirror. I don't think you're supposed to put anything else back here though. Tons of lighting options over here, here, and also above. You can control the lights with these buttons and the seats with these ones, whether you want to sleep, relax, or you're going up and flying or landing, or you like sitting very proper. Over here are going to be some buttons to change the blinds. Remote control. Since the screen is so far away, you pretty much have to use this. These are the headphones. Some good trusty XM3s. Really good headphones, and what I normally use when I travel. It's not on right now, but it does have great noise cancellation. Lastly, we have the amenities kit. This is going to be from a tinter in London. You have a Sentai kit, which includes lotion, the cream, and total lip treatment. A card telling you about the brand. Coin purse, which does come in pretty handy in Japan. Places either accept credit cards and it's fine, or they are cash only, and there's just a lot of coins. Lastly is a collapsible bag. Really cool thing too is that it has a nice design, so it kind of looks like the sky where it goes from darker to lighter. Can't wait to use this at Trader Joe's. First up is the mousse, which is going to be the A&A signature stick, vegetable grudettes, smoked salmon, and crab meat. Let's start off with the stick. Still just okay to me, but growing. Let's try the smoked salmon. Not bad. What I'm looking forward to is the snow crab leg. That one's super tasty, subtle sweetness to it. I'm a fan. Vegetable crudettes are fine, nice palate cleanse. Maybe not fair, but I feel like the mousse is always a little bit weak to me. I feel like they could do a little bit better on that part. It's fine by all means, but it doesn't really compare to a lot of the rest of the menu. Okay, so the Sakizuki and the Zensai is here now. This is going to be the Sakizuki, which is a starter with jelly, Japanese tiger prawn, sea urchin, and a bunch of other things. The bottom plate's going to be the Zensai, which is a plum, eel sushi, roast beef, and also Japanese egg omelet. This looks amazing, and I think you have to start at the jelly. That's so interesting. It's basically a jelly with everything inside of it. And there's a lot of sea urchin too. I don't know how to start. I'm gonna break it in half. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. First one's pretty much a giant piece of sea urchin. That's really good. Jelly's also flavored. It's kind of like a soy sauce flavor. It's already perfectly seasoned. This next one is more of a shrimp one. Shrimp is nice and sweet and bouncy. Just perfect. Yeah, this is definitely the first time I've ever had this. I would have remembered if I had it before. I would want it again, to say the least. Next up, we have the roast beef. There is a piece of mustard right on top, and you can kind of see the marbleization on it too, which is pretty nice. Let's see how it tastes. The crazy thing is that initially I was thinking how rigid and hard it was and how basically it felt like frozen fat, but once it melts in your mouth, it's buttery smooth. So instead of chewing right into it, I'd probably put it on your tongue, let it sit for a bit, and taste that umami goodness. I don't know how they did that. I'm pretty sure roast beef is not supposed to taste that good. Moving on, we have the eel sushi. So pretty straightforward. Let's give it a bite. That one for me is a miss. The rice is really hard and rigid. The eel didn't really have much flavor to it either. And this is a pickled root vegetable. Japanese plum. It's surprisingly good. There's a sweetness to it that I didn't expect. It starts with the sourness you kind of are used to and then super sweet after. Last up is going to be the Japanese egg omelet, which is generally one of my favorites. Not a fan of the texture, but the flavors are really good. There's some corn in there as well and some other sweetness. It's pretty tasty. Overall, pretty solid other than the eel. Next is the owan. This is going to be abalone soy milk tofu with sesame oil, winter melon, and kinomi leaves. So winter melon up here, abalone right down here. And this looks awesome, super tender. Let's give it a taste. Even though it's clear soup, it's super flavorful. The winter melon really comes out, and you also have the abalone. It's delicious if you like both items. Let's try the soy milk tofu. Super delicate. It's not really like other tofu we've had. So other ones are a bit more bouncy and kind of boring. This has a lot of flavor to it. You put it in your tongue, you taste the texture, and also just a lot of flavors. This is an S-tier dish, 10 out of 10. Let's try the abalone. Super tender with that sweet subtleness to it. It's not like a lot of other cheaper abalone where it's kind of either hard or kind of chewy. This one, you kind of bite right through it. Last up is the winter melon. Pretty interesting too. Wow. Tastes like really good winter melon. Gonna finish this off because I think they are trying to serve the next one. Next up is the sashimi plate. This looks amazing. Let's give it a taste. Put some wasabi on it and let's go. Pretty chewy. I don't think I'm a fan of this fish. I'm gonna finish it of course, but I think if I was a restaurant, I don't think I'd order this. Interesting. So the second cut was a lot better. It wasn't as chewy. Maybe the first cut just wasn't a good cut. With the sauce, it actually tastes a lot better. I think if I got the second bite, I would order it. Next up, we have the squid. Squid's pretty good. Really tender. I'm assuming this is food and not just decoration. I feel like I've had better, but not bad at all. For the main dish, we have grilled tilefish, simmered eggplant, carrot, burdock root, celery, and pepper of soy-based sauce. On the side, we have some steamed rice, miso soup, and Japanese pickles. This looks amazing. Let's dive in. Let's start with the tasty tidbits. I'm really excited for the octopus. Initially, I wasn't that impressed, but once you chew a bit more, you get more flavors coming out of it. Pretty good. It's not really the boring octopus flavor. There's a lot more going on here, but it's hard to explain. This one's going to be the taro. A bit different than I'm used to, but not bad. Last one for this one is going to be the pumpkin, which I do have biases against, so let's see how it goes. Mind you, I'm not a fan of pumpkin, but it is nice and creamy. It's not like the chewy, choppy type, if that makes sense. So in terms of how they cooked it, it's pretty good. My favorite of this item is definitely the octopus. Over here, we have the deep fried mullet, wheat, gluten, and soy-based sauce. Pretty much a gluten ball with soy sauce flavor. Not too bad at all if you don't mind the texture. I like it. Here we have the pepper. Pepper has a lot of flavor and I like it, but I think I'm not really a fan of peppers simmered for whatever reason. I like that crunch. Good though, and I definitely happily eat a full bowl of it. Here we have the yuba sheets. The yuba sheets are definitely the highlight here. Nice texture and very tasty. Have a bit of sweetness to it and the soy sauce flavor. This is the sea brie. Perfectly cooked, delicious, and just very tender, super flavorful as well. One of the best cooked fish I've had, pretty much perfection. Super tender, and you can see all the strands and just a lot of flavor here. Kind of like an umami bomb, but for fish. Let's try the simmered eggplant. Really good flavors and melt in your mouth. Let's try the rice. Rice is rice. It's fine, it's good. Japanese pickled vegetables. This one's pretty interesting, pretty good flavors here. Last but not least, we have the miso soup. Inside we have tofu, seaweed, and green onions. Pretty good, a bit earthier than I expected, but it works. Okay, I'm gonna work through this. See you in a bit. Last up, we have the dessert. At the bottom is a hot cake, and on top is going to be ice cream. Looks beautiful. Let's break into this. Ooh, that's interesting. What is that? Initially, I was guessing a cake, but so it's flaky, kind of like a pastry. Pretty much a warm, flaky pastry at the bottom. A bit on the sweet end, but I think it works. I give it an 8.5. Final finisher is going to be some desserts. Let's try the green tea one first. Not green tea, it's chocolate. That's good. We have this one, which I don't know what it is. Pretty much a little cake. This is the last one, which is kind of a candy jelly. Exactly what it sounds like. One of the best parts of the suite is the seat itself. It converts into a fully lay flat bed that's pretty large, 76 inches long and 38 inches wide. This gives you a ton of room to stretch out, sleep sideways, or even roll around. On top of this, they use an award-winning Nishikawa Air mattress pad as a topper. These provide great back support and are awesome at dispersing pressure. The bedding is also a nice touch. They provide a down comforter and duck down pillow. Also, I didn't know this until afterwards, but the blanket is cashmere and organic cotton. One big difference between business and first class is that the flight crew is more than happy to make the bed for you in first class. In business class, not really the case. There are some Star Trek doors you can close. You have to push it up for it to work. One of the coolest opportunities, while supplies last, is the ability to buy the Hibiki 100th anniversary blend at MSRP. This is an exclusive blend that represents a significant milestone in Suntory's history and showcases their mastery. It combines unique whiskeys aged for over 17 years, Yamazaki Mizunara cask malt aged for over 30 years, and Cheetah grain whiskey. Color is tender gold and nose has hints of jasmine and incense. Taste is a bit floral with sandalwood, finish is long and woody. First-class passengers are allowed to buy a max of 1 per flight or 50,000 yen per bottle. For context, if you went to a bar, you're looking at 18,000 yen or a 45 milliliters pour. A 30 milliliters pour would be proportional at about 13,000 yen. The entire bottle would be 320,000 yen or about 2,000 USD per bottle. Also note that the Harmony 100th anniversary is different. That one is the same standard Harmony juice, but in a fancier bottle. This is an entirely different juice. It comes in a wooden box to protect it, and it's pretty fancy. There's also a paper explaining the whiskey. For breakfast, I ended up ordering the udon noodles garnished with chicken and some additional sides. Also a coffee because why not? Everything tasted pretty great, no complaints. Udon noodles do hit different though, especially if you've been drinking all flight. They finished by bringing some fruits. Everything was perfectly ripe and a nice way to close out the meal. Note that there's no set breakfast menu. You order from the light dishes anytime menu. This includes sake accompaniments, soup, and noodles. You can also get refreshments like garden salad, cheese plate, or fruits. Also light dishes ranging from burgers to curries to rice bowls. If you want something a bit more substantive, you can get the washaku, which includes a bunch of items like fish, steamed rice, miso soup, and natto. They also have an international cuisine version as well if that's more your jam. Taking a look at the map, we have a bit more of the flight left and we're parallel to about Seattle. If you were sleeping, this is a great time to turn it from lie flat to seated position. Overall, I think the Suite First Class is an amazing product and well worth your points. Even if you're used to flying business class, it's hard to grasp how big and spacious it feels. Whether you want to sleep, spread out, or stretch, there's a ton of room. With that said, there is still room for improvement. I think the lounge product could have better food and beverage options. In fact, that's actually my same issue with the flight. It's good, but there's room for improvement. And to be fair, I am nitpicking. It's like saying that Steph Curry's defense could be improved. That can be true, but it doesn't mean he's not a great player. In the same way that this is a great first-class product. Once you factor in how affordable it is from a points perspective, it makes it even better. Again, if you want to see how we booked this, we have a blog post walking through all the nitty-gritty. If you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website asksebby.com and down below in the description box. Using those links supports these reviews, so as always, thank you. If you made it to this point, leave a whiskey or tumbler glass emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and respond. 3 questions. How do you think the ground experience could be improved? What are your thoughts on the flight itself? Also, would you buy the 100th anniversary whiskey? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor thumbs up, consider subscribing, but otherwise, hope you liked it. See you next time.